Heston Aircraft Company was a British aircraft manufacturer based at Heston Aerodrome, Middlesex, England. Starting in 1934, the company produced a number of aircraft designs, beginning with the Heston Phoenix and the Hordern Richmond autoplane. During the Second World War, the company transitioned to being a subcontractor, modifying Supermarine Spitfires amongst other types. After the war, the company built aircraft components for companies such as de Havilland Aircraft. History. Heston Aircraft Company Ltd. was founded on August 10, 1934, being renamed from Compare Aircraft Company Ltd., that had moved to Heston Aerodrome in March 1933, having previously built 40 Compare Swifts at Houghton Park Aerodrome. Most of the directors of Compare Aircraft, including Nick Compare, resigned and gave up the assets to a new group of investors and directors. The new board was headed by Sir Norman J. Watson and included Brimley Bryn R. S. Jones and George A. Lingham. Chief designer was George Cornwall, and chief test pilot was Edmund G. Hordern. On November 8, 1935, a new company was formed with the same name that took over the existing business and personnel. The company continued to support Compare Aircraft and owners, but discarded its own Compare Aircraft and assets. The first aircraft type to be designed and built by Heston Aircraft Company was the Heston Phoenix, a high-performance 5-seat private owner and commercial aircraft, 6 of which were completed between 1935 and 1939. In 1936, the company built the Hordern Richmond autoplane, a twin-engine 2-seat low-wing monoplane that had been designed by the firm's test pilot E. G. Hordern in collaboration with the Duke of Richmond and Gordon. The sole example was registered GAEOG. In 1937, the company designed the Heston T.1/37 trainer, and the first of 2 prototypes flew at Heston in 1938 with serial L7706. It was not selected for production for the RAF. In 1938, the company started work on the Heston Type 5 Racer, which was to be used in an attempt on the world's airspeed record. The aircraft had been designed by Napier Son and had an estimated maximum speed of 480 miles per hour, registered GAFOK. It first flew at Heston in June 1940 but was damaged on landing, and a second example was not completed. In 1941, the company built the Bolt & Pull P.92/2 half-scale piloted flying model of the Bolt & Pull P.92, the full-scale contract for which had been cancelled in May 1940. The first flight of the Sol P.92/2, serial V3142, was at Heston in early 1941. In 1947, the company designed and built the Heston JC.6, also known as the Heston A.2/45. That was intended to meet a Royal Air Force requirement for a new air observation post aircraft. 2 examples were completed, serials VL529 and VL530, not flown, but the competition was won by the Austereo P.6. In 1948, the company built the Youngman Baines High Lift, and the sole aircraft first flew at Heston on February 5, 1948 with military serial VT789, later registered GAMBL. Wartime aircraft in component design, modification, and repair. From early in its operations, the firm supplemented its aircraft construction by securing contracts for sub-assembly and components for aircraft. These included assemblies for the Vickers Wellesley in the late 1930s. During World War II, as a contractor within the civilian repair organization, Heston Aircraft Company was heavily engaged in repair and other support work on military aircraft. From late 1940, Heston Aircraft played a major role in modifying Supermarine Spitfires for the photographic reconnaissance task. The company equipped the Spitfires with vertical and oblique cameras, additional fuel tanks, and modified cockpit canopies. Many marks of Spitfire were repaired at Heston throughout the war. Other types to be repaired and modified included the Fairchild Argus, Ferry Battle, and the Naval Vought SB-2U Vindicator. Post-war aircraft modification. Heston Aircraft was subcontracted by de Havilland Aircraft to convert prototype de Havilland Hornets to Sea Hornet standards, for testing by the Fleet Air Arm. The first example, serial PX212, was completed to partial Sea Hornet F.20 standard but without folding wings. This was followed in January 1946 by serial PX219, that was fitted at Heston to full Sea Hornet F.20 standard with arrestor gear, folding wings, tail-down accelerator gear and naval radio equipment. The company also converted 2 Hornetes to Sea Hornet NF.21 night fighter standard. The first, serial PX230, first flew on July 9, 1946 with an ASH radar scanner in its lengthened nose, But the folding wings and long dorsal fin fillet did not appear until the second aircraft, serial PX-239, was converted. The modification involved fitting a second cockpit to house the radar operator. Post-war aviation operations. After the cessation of aircraft manufacture and modification, Heston Aircraft switched to a support role within the aviation industry, trading as Hestair. In early 1952 they were supplying components to de Havilland, Vickers Armstrong, and D. Napier Son. In late 1953, the company was building passenger steps for BOAC de Havilland Comets and Bristol Britannias, and mobile servicing docks for BEA's Heathrow Engineering Base. Aircraft built: Heston Phoenix, Hardern Richmond Autoplane, Heston T.1/37, Heston Type 5 Racer, Bolton Paul P.92/2, Heston JC.6, Youngman Baines High Lift.